And welcome into Closest to the Win. It's the day after the PGA Championship. Well, a couple days after the PGA Championship, and the golf does not stop. We have the Charles Schwab Challenge Colonial. It's going to be a great tournament. It's actually a pretty strong field, and we've got our full course tonight. We got Pro, otherwise known as Drew. We got Justin Hansen in the house 2 weeks in a row. Glad you aren't traveling tonight. And, of course, we got our famous guru, Nikolai. How you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good. It's a nice little break from the heavy action of last week. But the oldies, the goodies, the classics, you know, they have a place in our hearts. And so here we are in Colonial for another round of the good stuff.
The good stuff. A round of the good stuff. I love it. Yeah, so let's just get right into it, guys. Pro, what do you think about this course? Have you played this one?
I have played the source. This is night and day from what we saw last week. Congratulations to Lefty. Yeah, this is more of your old school golf course here, boys. This is it's not long, it's tight in areas. The greens are small. This is a very fun golf course. There's going to be a lot of birdies made. This is flipping last week on its head. You have to position the ball well out here. You'll see fun holes like 9. There's a bunch of fun holes here. If you start out on 1, you get to start out with a favorable par 5, get the round going. It's just a cool old school golf course, and it's going to be one that'll be on tour forever just because it's just been there forever. And even though distance has gotten out of hand to an extent, Colonial is still a good test, and I think the players still like it, and I think the field says so, especially coming off of a week where guys got their ass kicked, man. It wasn't fun out there last week. So hopefully this will be a little bit more laid back, making birdies, having more fun than what was Keogh Island for a lot of those guys last week.
Yeah, last night we had Andy on, and he was talking about he truly believes there's going to be an effect of those that played all 4 rounds last week at the PGA. He said it's draining mentally, it's draining physically, and if you weren't in contention and you're just out there grinding to try to finish, you know, top 30, top 40, he believes that that's going to take a little bit of a toll on the guys that are playing this week, especially the guys that have played like 3 or 4 weeks in a row. What do you think about that, Guru?
I would agree. I think there's some guys on the radar that's a pretty good tiebreaker to not use them depending on how you feel. Best examples I can give, and we'll touch on it in a second, but, you know, if you're deciding between Reid and Berger, I think that's a pretty good, you know, test case considering where Reid ended up on the board and where Berger ended up on the board and how you think their weekend rounds went. But there's other examples too, but those are just the first 2 that come to the top of my head.
Wow, yeah, that's a good point. Justin, what are your thoughts on this course?
Oh, well, I think kind of like you said, it's complete opposite of what we just saw. So, you know, it's a little bit of revert to the mean, but, you know, it's a great field, and kind of surprised to see some of the guys stick in the field, to be honest, just with the way last week went. So, you know, should be interesting once again.
Yeah, I you know, isn't this the course? Isn't this the tournament last year that was the first tournament without fans?
Yeah, it was the first tournament, since that they restarted on.
Yeah, and then Berger won, and I think Colin Morikawa had that missed 4-footer to lip out in extra innings, as I like to say.
You got it.
Yeah. So we got a lot to talk about. Let's go ahead and let Guru do his thing. Talk about the course, talk about the model and the key stats, and before we get to our plays and fades.
So the oldies and goodies are, I really wasn't trying to overthink this because there's so many years of the stats on paper. I mean, so I don't really have any driving distance kind of weighted in there. I mean, for the most part, it's the same probably 5 major things that most people are talking about that you've heard, read, or seen, or your personal experience. I mean, the driving accuracy is going to be in there. Your par 4 scoring is going to be in there. I mean, good Lord, I forgot the rest. Proximity's in there a little bit. Give me a second. I will tell you it is on.
You're not going to have par 5 scoring in there, are you?
No, yeah. And then no, I didn't include it at all.
2 par 5s?
Yeah, no, wasn't worth the time. And then I've got the whole scrambling, but I kind of put it more towards sand saves because really I think that's the bigger issue with the scrambling aspect of it, because I think there's 84 bunkers, I think, if memory serves, and then I still have a little weighting of some other the usual suspects, so to speak, but I guess there's really just those major 4. The form I looked at 45 days, 90 days, and 190. So that's, and for most of the comparative metrics I used about 80 days, which is going to take you right starting at the players. Course history I do believe plays a part, but as Morikawa showed last year, some first timers can come in here if it really fits them well, can do pretty well, but I still lean towards some folks that have actually had a couple of rounds through here. The comps are a little smaller than normal, but I still have a few that I kind of liked, and it's the same usual suspects that you hear, but I've got my own little guru flair in there. The odds are more geared win top 10 and made cut. It's kind of for me it was kind of a boring week. There was really nothing interesting or really fun to kind of whip up. It was just kind of more of a stick to the formula and see what spits out. And I imagine we all have a lot of the same names between the 4 of us, and I imagine it's probably some of the same names that you've seen on Twitter already. But we'll find out soon.
Yeah, I totally concur. Is anybody going to shock us with any picks this week?
Probably. You usually have something.
You absolutely do.
You never let us down, Guru.
You never let us down. I do love this course, and I do love the fact that these guys are going to have to put a lot of thought into to those driving holes. And so, but let's just get right to it, man. Let's go to those 10Ks, plays and fades, 3 plays, 1 fade. Once again, it's dumb to say you got to fade one of these guys, but that's the way it works. And we're going to start with pro. Who you going, pro?
Yeah, right out of the gates, super happy to just slap Colin Morikawa right in there at 10,500. I mean, I'm sorry. He's just, the guy's just too good of an iron player. His game has no weaknesses outside of the putter. Again, just has to have an average week on the greens. I mean, that's really what it comes down to with a guy like him. His game is that tight. So I will take him. And, of course, he won I believe he took 2nd here last year, to your guys' point earlier. And then I'll take Patrick Reid. Patrick Reid's had I don't want to say a sneaky decent year, but he has. If you look at it statistically, last week, again, was a grind for most guys. What he finished last week, tied for 17th. It's kind of what he does. His game fits around this golf course as long as he can get off the tee. And then I'll take Spieth, and you can backlash all you want. I mean, the fact is, Spieth's ball striking, even last week, put him in the position to win the golf tournament. It's really been 3 tournaments in a row the putters let him down. I mean, it's just the facts of the matter. I think there was only 3 of the PGA professionals in the field last week that putted worse than Jordan Spieth. So it's been a challenge for him. I mean, again, though, I just think with the way he's playing, I'm not going to back off of it. I would be surprised if he does not contend or win. I mean, he would be my shoe-in this week.
Well, he's number 1 in our model, and he's number 1 in my model. And Andy mentioned some things on Spieth last night. He said, he lost 2.2 strokes gained in putting. It's the 3rd time he's lost strokes gained in putting this year. But he went on to say in his next start, after losing strokes gained putting, he's gained plus 4.1 and plus 5.7 the next 2 tournaments after losing. And so if that follows the form, then he should have a good week on the greens. And if he does that, his short game is there. So, yeah, it should be interesting to watch to see how he performs.
Oh, and then sorry, man. Sorry, I forgot I was still going. So I'm going to fade JT. and it's just based off of the way he played last week. He fought back hard. JT's been really hard for me to bet this year, to be honest with you. Every time I throw the money in JT's camp, it just comes out on the wrong end for me. He was a little squirrely with the driver last week. Again, he fought hard, which he's, of course, going to do. I think he missed the cut by one shot. I will fade JT there in the 10K range.
All right.
He's down to 87th in strokes gained off the tee, by the way, which is kind of shocking because that number was way higher than that last year.
All right, I got you. Justin?
All right. Well, I'll go ahead and I'll go with Spieth as well with my first guy. He's never missed a cut at this course. You know, he's got 7 top 15s. He won in 2016. Got multiple top 5s. You know, what more do you need to hear on him this week? So I'll play Jordan. And I'll play Morikawa as well. He's coming off back-to-back top 10s. He's a putter away right now, and I think he'll dial it in soon. So I'll keep riding him. Third, I'll go Berger. You know, he is despite a really rough first round. I thought he battled this week. He played really well on Friday to make the cut. One of the best rounds in the field on Friday, and he's right there too.
Well, he won this too. He's the defending champ. So
yeah, and he's the defending champ. He's 4th in the model. So I'll go Berger. And coming to my fade, I'm going to fade Patrick Reid. Drew, you know, made a good case for him. I just in this group, I just can't.
It's always awkward fading these guys, but yeah, you got to fade one.
In this group of elite players, you know, you got to drop one of them, and it's going to be Patrick Reid for me.
See you, Patrick.
See ya.
and Guru, let's go, brother. Let's hear it.
All right, so it's not a name I normally say, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it anyway. So I'm gonna start with Morikawa, because normally he's on the wrong side of the fence for me, but based on the price point and whatnot, it just makes too much sense. So I'm going to try to throw some different stuff out there and that maybe nobody's going to say or whatnot. So marking it from the players on. So for him, that's 18 rounds. So he's first in the field off the tee and first in the field with his approach game, which is pretty solid. Considering he got around here pretty well last year, I'm not going to worry about anything else. I'm just going to assume he can, do it again. Form's there. He's 8th with the comps. He's 4th in the other stats I've got baked in. And then the things that caught my eye. So year to date, he's first in the field from 125 to 150. He's 8th in the field from 150 to 175. And he's first in the field from 175 to 200. That's good enough for me. He'll get it there. I figure he's got I'm just not going to beat the dead horse. I like him a lot this week, and it just makes too much sense.
Best in the game.
Yep.
Like I said, it could have been his first win last year easily.
Should have been.
Yeah.
But, hey, good for Berger, but we'll just say should have been. But, first turning back, though, too, there's a whole lot of other variables there. So I could see why people were on him. I could see why people weren't. But that's last year. Hopefully, we'll see if he gets it this year. I'm going to play Spieth, too. That just seems kind of like a no-brainer. I mean, Justin touched on the course history. I mean, everything else kind of lines up on paper. I mean, the last 80 days, that's 24 rounds for him. He's 5th in approach, 17th around the green, 36 off the tee, 48th with the putter. His 24 rounds, he's, 5th in sand saves, 7th in birdies, 14th in bogeys. And then year to date, he's 14th with the extremely short 50 to 75 yarders. He's 12th from 150 to 175, 9th birdie or better. I could just spew stats all day long. So Spieth is 1, Morikawa's 1, Spieth is 2. Then you're really kind of splitting hairs with what's left. So then you've got Berger, who's pretty much been dragging with the short game. Then you've got Reid, that's been killing it with the short game and dragging with the approach and the off the tee stuff. But I'm going to fade JT, and I'm going to fade JT for a different set of reasons. So you look at his last 80 days. So that's 20 rounds for him. He's 95th with the putter. So we're playing on bent. So if you dive into the bent a little bit, so his last 100 rounds on bent, that goes back 5 years. He's got 35 of them when he's lost half a stroke or more. What are we playing on? Bent. But if you don't want to go back to 2016, we'll just narrow it down to 2019, 2020, and 2021. So that's 42 rounds. So he's got 13 rounds that are actually half a stroke or worse, lost on bent. So that's still 30% either way. Even if he makes all 4 rounds, that's just telling you right there, he's probably going to lose some strokes off the putter, at least 1 round, if not 2. And considering the rest of the game's been there, and if you look at the sample size too for smaller, I think it's par 70, par 71, shorter fields with smaller greens. That's the one Achilles heel he's had as well. And, so basically it's putter, 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 and putter. Not to say he can't do well, but the interesting thing last year, he was contending pretty well to round 4. And I think round 4 of last year's tourney, I think he lost 3.5 plus strokes with the putter. And I think that's his worst or second worst performance with the putter in the last 5 years. So I'm just going to assume that he might be able to get it around here pretty good, but since the putter's been a little bit off, Bent's not like the super awesome service for him, I'm going to fade him.
I like it.
I like it.
Who's your third play?
Oh, yeah, so there's that. So then splitting hairs, I'm going to take Berger because I think that if the approach, if the off the tee and the approach is there, I think he can come up with a slightly better short game here. And I think he probably wants to. I think he played okay. I'm not going to say he mailed it in, but I think Patrick Reid grinded pretty hard to get the 17th. And if anybody's going to be spent a little bit, it's him. And especially since he took a couple year gap of time in between, victories here. So I'm not as convinced he'll do well. I think Berger will want to definitely show up and, do fairly well. So yeah, I'm going to play Berger. I'm going to play Morikawa. I'm going to play Spieth, and I'm going to fade JT.
Cool. All right. Well, good. Obviously, I'm going to make Morikawa our 4-way consensus. He's just too good, And so, my model is approach tee to green, off the tee, around the green. I did go proximity 350 to 400 based on how many par 4s in that range, and then proximity 400 to 450. I went to fairways gained because of this tree lined fairways, and I also went with putting. And so I got Morikawa there. He's number 4 in approach, number 2 in tee to green, number 3 in around the green. He's 22 in fairways gained. His worst statistic is obviously putting, but he's got a place. He's in there. I'm also going with Berger. He's number 4 in our model. He did pick it up after that dreadful first round when we were all cussing last Thursday. That was crazy. And but the fact that he did grind and make the cut, and he still is in the last 24 rounds top 11 and tee to green. He's top 12 and off the tee, and he's top 20 in putting. And so in 20th and he's 22nd in approach. I like Berger a lot. And then I'm going to be the contrarian here. I'm going to play Justin Thomas. Number 1 in proximity, 400 to 450 with his irons. He's still an iron magician. You're going to need him. He's still 9th in approach. He's still 5th in tee to green. He's still 9th in around the greens. He's still top 20 in 350 to 400. The putting is going to be the difference. And so, but I have a feeling a lot of people are fading him. I did like kind of what Andy said last night about the fact that he had 2 weeks. He didn't have to grind 4 straight days, and he was watching on the weekend. And so, I'm going to play him, and then I'm going to fade Patrick Reid as well. And so Patrick Reid, I like Patrick Reid, and once again, I feel dumb you have to fade anybody because he is 4th in that 350 to 400 proximity. He's 7th in around the greens. He's 12th in tee to green. He's good. The only thing that bothers me right now, and I think you alluded to it, was his off the tee and his fairways gained. He's 88th in fairways. And if you're not hitting the fairways, you're not getting that good second shot. And so that's the reason I'm fading Patrick Reid. And so, the fact that he's more expensive than Berger, the defending champion, who has, to me, better statistics for this season, that makes it easy to pick Reid as my fade. But every time I do that, he burns me, and so I'm expecting Reid to play strong and do well. But
it's how it works, man.
It is.
It dumb. Doesn't make any sense.
We're just entertaining ourselves up here. All right, so we did have one consensus play. That's Morikawa, and I had to flip a coin on Spieth and JT, and I like Spieth. Like I said, he's he's probably going to win the damn thing, but I wanted to make an argument for Justin.
He better, man. He better win the damn thing.
You know what? It's all set up for him, isn't it?
He was supposed to have a green jacket and a Wanamaker. I don't know what the hell happened, boys. He's supposed to win every time he tees it up, damn it.
The love this guy has. The love this guy has. Hey, and before we close out, I want to laugh about the Brooks Bryson thing. That's gaining so much
happy
traction.
You brought that up. I'm so happy you brought that up. It's amazing.
Oh my God!
How much does he hate him?
I'm a Brooks fan, but anyway, all right. Let's go to 9K, and we'll start with you, Justin. What do you got on 9K?
All right. Well,
I love 9K, by the way.
Say again.
I love 9K this week.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna play one of your guys. I already put down my bet on him. Zalatoris. I mean, I think that guy's gonna win soon. He's such a consistent player. He's 3 major starts, 3 top 10s. He's got a lot of the stats. He's 6th in strokes gained total. I like him a lot this week. I think he can win this week. And as a 9K player, if you think they can win, that's want to have him in there. So he's my first play. My second is Answer. The guy's on an absolute heater. I mean, 3 top 10 bro.
He really is, dude. That bro is making cash, dude. He is cashing checks. He doesn't need to win.
An 8.
His family's feeling really nice about their position right now.
And he would have been top 10 at the Masters if not for that penalty.
Yep.
That would have been another top 10.
Won it 2 strokes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I think he still finished around 20th or so. 20. Anyway, he's playing amazing. I obviously love the guy. I play him every week. I'm playing him this week for sure. 3 in the model. So Zalatoris, Answer, and then Tony Finau. He's coming off the model. He's number 1 in points per DraftKings dollar, which is a stat that I like to keep up with.
I like that.
He's 10th in shots gained total. I mean, he snuck right into another top 10 last week.
Backdoor top 10 legend, Tony.
Just slides right in. So, I'm happy to play him at that price point this week. I think, like I said, I'd take him over pretty much any of the 10K guys for building my lineups just because I want to have room to get some other guys in. So, give me Zalatoris, Finau, and Answer. And I'm going to fade Sebastian Sanjay Im. Just not that he's playing that poorly, really. He's been right around it, but a lot of these 9K guys are playing great.
Yeah, the 9K range is actually hard to fade as well because I'm looking at it, I'm like, damn. Like, I can make a case for all these guys to an extent.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah, so, I found one 9K guy that was the easy fade for me. But anyway, we'll get to that. Cool. So Sebastian is your fade. Go ahead, Pro.
Tony Fina, where he be now? I will take Tony Fina as well. Yeah. Listen, Tony Finau is too damn good to I keep saying this, he's going to break through. I know he hasn't win, but he had kind of a little dry spell for 3 weeks. I think his game tee to green is so good rather. He just has to make putts. That's really what it comes down to with Tony. But again, he's 7th in strokes gained tee to green. Basically, what I just put in my notes here, his ass needs to putt well. As simple as that.
Yeah.
I mean, you can dive into any Tony Finau statistics you want, but he just has to make putts. I'm going with this is Dave's dude. I'm going to go with Corey Connors. And the reason is because the dude can just strike the golf ball. He's had a really fantastic year if we look at it. So look at the trajectory of him, like Monday qualifying to winning to now he's kind of cementing himself in as being a really nice player. And his ball striking around here, again, it's not overly long. I think being able to put the ball in play, put the ball at the green is going to be benefited. beneficial to him and then Abraham Answer as well. It's hard to like Abraham Answer can every time he tees it off, it's like placing the ball in the middle of the fairway. It's a cheat code. He doesn't miss fairways. 7,000-yard golf course to me screams Abraham Answer, and I know like I'm with Justin. Like I want to play him every week to an extent because like he's just that good. And then you see last week and you're like, how the hell am I going to play Abraham Answer? But you do, and he's going to break through at some point. Then the fade is where it gets interesting. So I'm going to, and I'm kind of flip-flopping on what I want to do here, boys, to be honest with you. It's
flipping in the moment. I like it.
Pressure. You know, it is because this is a bold play, and I don't have many things to back up my statement here, but I'm going to fade Scottie Scheffler. Okay.
You hurt me, man. You hurt me.
No, I'm not. I get it, but at least I threw Corey Connors in. I thought I was going to soften the blow a little bit.
You did. I smiled.
Again, in the 9K range, I'm looking at guys like Gary Woodland, who's been under. I know Justin knows because he's been playing really damn well here lately. I know this golf course isn't fitting well. I couldn't fade him. Jason Kokrak's kind of low hanging fruit, but again, a player who's had a good year. And I just think Sung Jae, with his iron play, I like him. So it's all about Scottie Scheffler making putts, man. We talk about all the time. But it's one of these weeks he's got to make them. And he hasn't done it to this point. I mean, since we've been kind of throwing cash on the guy. So he's going to be my fade, Scottie Scheffler. Bless you, my friend. I tried to put Corey Connors in there for your, because you like Canadians.
Hey.
So he's there for you, man. So I'm gonna go Fina, where he be now, Connors, Honest Abe, and I will fade Scottie Scheffler.
All righty, and of course Scheffler is going to be +5 in putting this week. And of course Ryan's in there saying that Scheffler is going to be probably the lowest ownership in 9K for sure. You know why? I agree. Because he has not backed up his price point in the last several weeks. And everything that Drew just said makes sense. And so, you know what? Scheffler's not in my playlist, but let's go ahead and go to Guru here.
So I'm going to start with Answer. I loved Answer last week, and believe it or not, he was the most owned guy that I used all the way around. So thank you, Jesus, for that Sunday. Let's hope he can carry it forward again this week. And everything I like this week, last week, is still there this week. I mean, except let me try to spin it a different way. So year to date, he's second in golf in driving accuracy, third with bogey avoidance, 10th in scrambling, and 36 birdie or better. You look at the 24 rounds, he's first in bogeys, second in pars, 21st in birdies, 10th greens and reg, and first in sand saves. I'll take all that. Then you look at his last 8 starts. They've all been top 26s or better, which is good enough for me. Is third overall in form. Last 45 days, he's number 1. Last 90 days, he's number 4. And last 190 days. And part of the reason I use 190 because that takes it right back before the RSM, which is a comp I used. So if you take it back 190 days, he is 6th. So then the 3 trips here, he's got 52nd, 58th, and 14th. And then look at the comps overall, he's 25th. Then you look at his last 80 days, and he's got a 30-round marker. He's second off the tee, 12th in approach, and 21st in putting. I will take a big heaping spoonful of that and keep on eating until he finally wins. So that's number 1. To echo everybody else, I'm going to play Tony Finau, and he be now on my playing card. He is the only golfer in the field that he's top 20% of the model in all 7 major categories. So that's usually a play for me. So I'm going to play him again.
I want Tony. I love Tony, man.
He's got to win eventually. He's just got to. Andy said it. I mean, the law of averages checks out. It's going to happen. Hopefully it's the week we're all on him, but most likely it'll be the week we get off.
Yeah.
We'll worry about that later.
It's happening. It's happening.
If that's what it takes. If that's what it takes.
You're right. You're right. I'm okay. I'll sacrifice it.
To get him off the schneid, for sure.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's been here 5 times in the last 6 years, and they've all been top 34s or better. So I think he can get his way around the course a little bit. The last 8 days for him, the 16 rounds, he's 4th around the green, which is, pretty good. He's 6th with the comps. But then things I like about Tony year to date, 7th in scoring average, 10th with the approach 125 to 150, 21st from 150 to 175, 13th birdie or better. Last 24 rounds, he's 16th in birdies, 14th in bogeys, 42nd greens and reg, and 49th in sand saves. So, yeah, Tony Finau. So number 3, I thought about this one a little bit too. I kind of narrowed it down to 2, and I tried to figure out which way to go, but try to be a little different. So I'm going to play some Joaquin Nieman. Shocking as it may be. So he's got 7 top 40s or better in his last 7 starts. So the form has been there, and you break that down a little bit. So 45 days, he's 6th in the field. 90 days, he's 13th. 190 days, he's 7th. Last 80 days, so that's 28 rounds for him. He's 8th off the tee, 24th in approach, and 7th with the putter. It's a pretty good mix of stuff there for sure. Year to date, he's 14th greens and reg, 14th total driving. So that's, again, the distance and the accuracy put together. 15th birdie or better. 24 rounds, he's 26th in birdies, 36th in pars, 36th in bogeys, and 16th greens and regs. And the comps have him 19th. So that was a pretty good mix of stuff for me to use. I went back and forth on the fades too, trying to figure out where to go. And I too ended up with our good friend, Mr. Scottie Scheffler. So year to date, he is 97th in scrambling. He is 187th in sand saves. He is 191st in that 50 to 125 bucket, which I did not care for. Last 24 rounds, he's 116th in pars, 47th in bogeys. You look at his last 8 starts, 4 of them have been 29th or worse. For a 9,500 guy, that's not as good as I think it should be. You look at his last 80 days, that's a 28-round marker for him. He's 75th in putting, 56th around the green, and 56th in approach and 48th around the green. And since I do believe course history plays a little bit, I would have expected better than that 55th last year. I expect he'll improve on it. He'll probably finish top 30, something like that. But, for that kind of money, and he could have some crazy number of eagles and improve on that top 30 finish. But I'm going to take a flyer that I can get those kind of points elsewhere. Either I spend up a little bit or spend down and save a couple of bucks. So Scheffler's my fade. I'm going to play Nieman. I'm going to play Finau, and I'm going to play Honest Abe.
I like it. Okay, so I really had a tough time with 9Ks, just like you guys. It's a
all
really
your
good
boys
category.
are in 9K. All your boys are in 9K.
I know, man.
Just play Connors and Zal and Scheffler.
Yeah,
there you go. Trifecta.
Not happening, boys. One of those 3 is in. Only one of those 3 is in, and that's Will Zalatoris.
Okay.
And the reason Will Zalatoris is in, based on my model and the way I weighted it, he's number 1 in approach in this field in the last 24 weeks. He's number 3 in tee to green. He's 23 off the tee. He's not been great with the putter. I'm going to give him that. He's not been great in that 400 to 450 proximity range. But as good as his irons are, I think this is a course that's fit for him. And so I like Will Zalatoris this week. I think he's gonna pop one off and actually win soon. And so I'm with Justin on this one. I'm also gonna lock down our second consensus play, and that's gonna be Tony Finau. Tony Finau in my model, number one approach, tied with Zalatoris. He's number 1 in tee to green. He's 13th off the tee. He's 6th in 350 to 400. He's 19th in 4 to 450, and he's 15th with the putter. Based on the weight system for me. And I mean, at $9,600, yeah, give me all the Finau I can take. And I love that guy this week. And so we got 4 consensus plays on Finau, which is really cool. So
Justin, every time we play Fina, Justin always texts us at like 7:42. He's like, "Oh, Fina shit in the bed." He's like 5 over through 2 holes.
I know.
So I hope that doesn't happen.
Pull in the water on one.
Yeah, like he's always like, "Oh," I'm like, "Dude, I haven't even taken the kids to school. How's he already shit in the bed?"
It never fails. Not this week.
And not this week. Not this week.
Hold. I got to hear the fade. This will be good.
Wait, I got my third play.
Oh, okay.
My third play is also Joaquin Nieman. And Joaquin Nieman is number 3 in tee to green. He's number 3 off the tee. He's number 5 in that proximity from 400. He's 12th in that approach. This is the kind of course that like Zalatoris, I think it's tailor-made for his game. and so I wanted to throw some Nieman in there, and so I was surprised that you were in there on Nieman as well. So so really happy to hear that, to know that we were kind of aligned on that one. And my fade is for me, and trust me, one of you guys made him, you said you weren't going to fade him because of he's been playing good lately, and he has been playing better lately, but I don't think he's been playing 9K good, and that's Woodland. I like Woodland. I've always been a fan of Woodland, but in this field, he's 112th in fairways, and he's 105th in the proximity between 400 and 450, and he's 112th in off the tee right now, and 82nd in tee to green. And so, he's been putting good, and he's been his approach shots have been really good. But for a guy that's been typically in that 7 and 8K range to jump up to the 9K range, I just think there's more value in the 9K range with a Zalatoris or a Fina or a Nieman or an Answer than that kind of in a Woodland. Huh?
How does that make you feel, Justin?
Well, he makes a good point, and which is why I haven't played Woodland myself.
I know it's sad. It's been kind of
it's a value thing. There's too many good guys in the 8.
I don't disagree with you. I
think don't worry, if he keeps it up, you'll be hearing from me again.
Oh yeah, well, the fun, but I was just surprised that he was in a 9K range.
Me too, really.
I could see him in the 8K range, but and of course Ryan goes. Speaking of jumping, look at Phil this week, which we'll get to Phil. But anyway, let's go straight to 8K, and we'll start with Guru.
Oh, okay. So welcome back to the cool side of the table, Mr. Brian Harmon. Yeah, 1 week hiatus. I'll bring you back. So last 80 days, that's 22 rounds. He's first strokes gained total, 16th off the tee, third around the green, second in putting. Last 24 rounds, he's 14th in birdies, 7th in bogeys, 13th in driving accuracy. Year to date, he's 8th in scrambling, 24th in sand saves, and 20th in scoring average. He's got 5 top 20s in his last 6. He's got 7 top 31s out of his last 8 trips here to the course. 26th overall as far as the comps go, and 17th in other stats. It just makes a lot of sense. And for 8,000, he's been pretty good to us for a number of weeks, and I'm going to keep riding that. I'm going right back, man. Yeah, I know. It was a tough week for a lot of people.
That was a big ballpark there for my guy Brian Harmon last week.
It was.
He needs some of that sink juice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree.
So I'm going to just go straight down the list, and I'm going to ride Charlie Hoffman yet again. He's 10th in the model. Last 80 days, that's 24 rounds for him. He's 29th off the tee, 4th in approach, 32nd around the green, and 36th in putting. It's a pretty good, all-around combo. When you stack up his last 24 rounds, I was kind of surprised. So he's 9th in driving distance, 46th in driving accuracy, 21st greens and reg, 35th sand saves, 4th in birdies, 24th in bogeys. Last 8 starts, they're all top 34 or better, other than, last week. 7th overall, as far as the course history, he's got 11 of 12 made cuts, and 8 of the 11 were top 50 or better. And then as far as the other stats go, he's 6th overall. He makes a whole lot of sense. I don't think the Texas wind is going to bother him. He's just playing in another. Whatever juice he's been taking, hopefully he's got a stash to make him last one more week.
Is it legal? What are we doing here?
I don't know, man. He's Chuck, man. You got Chuck here, and you got Schwab in the Euro. I mean, it's a Chuck Schwab kind of week. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my.
So just to make it fun, for my third 8K guy, I'm going to play Justin Rose and bring the Euros to the table.
Bring him.
Oh my.
So, he won here in 2018. And if all the guys that have played more than one tourney here, he's got the second lowest scoring average in terms of, rounds on the course. So that carries some weight with me. He's 5th as far as the comps go. He's actually, of course, the Masters plays into it a little bit, but, last 45 days, he's 38th in the field as far as form goes. Last 90 days is 18th. And even if you look back 190 into the fall, he's still 32nd. Last 24 rounds, he's 3rd in birdies, 43rd in bogeys, 28th greens and reg. Year to date, he's 9th in birdies, 15th in birdies or better, 5th in approach from 150 to 175, and he's first year to date from putts 10 to 15. And then you look at his 80 days, it's only 10 rounds, but he's got a 7th and 8th and a miscut. But then he's 9th in the field off the tee, and he's first in the field in putting. So if the putter keeps working for him, and I think this is a place it can, I think he should do okay. And then, looking back at it's a larger sample size, but he's got 7 pure bent grass wins in like 12 years. I mean, so I think if everything's clicking, I think he'll be okay. I'm going to go I'm going to zig when I zag. So I'm going to fade Kevin Na. I don't really care about the course history and the fact that this just seems to be one of his courses in his wheelhouse. The last 80 days, that's 16 rounds for him. He's 107th off the tee. He's 118th in approach. He's 99th with the putter. And then you look at his form for his last 7 starts. He's 29th, 42nd, 43rd, 2 miscuts, and that weak withdraw, whatever you want to call it. So I know he's 8,400, and it's tough to fade a guy kind of in the middle and even in the lower end, but there are other guys in the 8K range I think actually bring more to the table. And so I'm going to take a stab and fade Kevin Na. So I'm going to play Rose, I'm going to play Harmon, and I'm going to play Chucky Hoffman.
Chucky.
Nice. All right, Pro.
Yeah, Brian Harmon. I'm on the Brian Harmon wagon. Look, Ryan's been on this message board talking about Brian Harmon for weeks, and now he's hesitant on him. It might be the time. And
he's only 8K. He's at the bottom.
Yeah, he's a value play. He's really had a fantastic season. I'm not going to beat a dead horse with Brian Harmon. I'm going to take Billy Ho. I said I'd never take Billy Horschel because I hate him, but I'm going to take him because this golf course to me sets up for Billy Horschel perfectly. He's been consistent, 5 top 10s and a win this season already. There's not one thing or one if you look at Billy Horschel's stats, you're like, damn, this is really hard for me to stand up here in front of anybody and make a case for Billy Horschel because there's not one thing that he does exceptionally well. However, he's really had a damn good season. I mean, he finds the hole. He puts the golf ball in the hole. I'm going to take Billy Horschel. Kevin Shrielman, who is another guy who's a little older, had a fantastic season. He played well last week. He has 3 top 10s. He's 20th in greens and regulation percentage. I will take Kevin Shrielman. I'm going to fade Phil Mickelson for all the reasons probably everybody thinks. I mean, what Phil Mickelson are we getting here this week, right?
Yeah. Who knows?
I mean, it's hard to throw. Not that we were throwing. The thing is, it's like we were throwing 0 eggs in the basket before. But, like, how the hell are we supposed to throw in any this week, right? I mean, Phil kind of came out of nowhere. Well, yeah, it's rough. I mean, I'm going to fade Phil this week. I hope he has a good week. Last week was fun. That was fun.
Crazy. It was insane.
How much is left?
We kept saying, is he going to do it another round? Can he do another round? Can he do another round?
The batshit crazy thing was he was just hitting fairways. And then when he put that ball on 16, when he hit like 366 and like bombed it past Brooks, it was like, oh, Lord, we are ready for liftoff. That was a wonderful PGA championship.
And when he chipped in on Sunday from the sand, I was just like, oh, he's going to win this son of a bitch. And the funny thing is, the first hole, they did a flip-flop with Brooks, right? And I'm like, okay, here it goes. This is it. And then for him to be resilient enough to rebound and play that well down the back 9, oh, my God, I was just like blown away.
On 18, that might be the hardest I've ever seen him swing. On teeing off on 18. I don't know if I've ever seen him swing that hard. He was just fired up, boy. It was fun. It was fun to watch.
Adrenaline.
His lungs were free of all things.
Oh, yeah.
And so, hey, good plays there, Pro. Justin, what do you got in 8K?
Okay, so I'm going to do something that you did, and I told you before the show that I liked him. I'm going to go Justin Rose, too.
Oh, my word.
Despite my better judgment, probably. He's never missed the cut here either. He's a recent winner. He shot a 63 in the first round last year. I would look at him in maybe a first round leader line, or maybe one of the showdown contest first round. Rarely will you find me playing Justin Rose, and I'm gonna this week, and then
love it.
And then probably never do it again.
Love it.
So
until the British Open.
I concur with that. You'll never do it again after this week.
So we'll go Rose. I'll go Matt Wallace too. He's third at the Valero. He's 6 for 6 making cut, and with 4 top 25s. So he's 8,200. He's close to the bottom of the price point. Playing good golf. I'll 28th in the model. So give me some Matt Wallace here. And for my third guy, I went back and forth between Billy Ho and Harmon. And I think in the end I'm going to take Harmon just because he's that much cheaper.
And everybody hates Billy Ho.
Yeah,
I didn't want to take him. It hurt me to do.
And if I can avoid taking a Florida Gator, I avoid it.
There you go. There's the real truth, right there.
Yeah, exactly.
And like I said, I'm a fan of Phil.
I like it.
I'm surprised Phil hasn't withdrawn. Honestly, like I don't expect anything from him this week.
You're fading Phil.
Yeah, I'm fading Phil. I mean,
does he have any Charles Schwab? Are they backing him at all? Because sometimes when you have those sponsors, you can't really back out. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't
that's
think
probably one of these.
He's with one here.
This is going to be like Florida State in the College World Series. It's going to be 2 and a barbecue for Phil right here.
Yeah, he's with Workday exclusively. I don't think of course, who knows what all these other back deals these guys have, but I'm surprised he's playing. Honestly, you win a PGA Championship after that big of a drought, and it's your 6th major, and I mean, yeah,
he's won here twice. I mean, that's basically it. And he said after this, he isn't playing until the U.S. Open. He's just going to go scope it out and do whatever he does. So, like, I don't expect much either. I wouldn't be shocked if he made the cut. I think he could probably walk around here and probably still get a top 30, top 40. But at 8,500, I'm not going to play him. There's no chance.
Okay, well, we have another consensus play. I am going to kick off 8K with Harmon, and Harmon is too good of a player, and he's right there, top 10 in our model, and Guru laid out a really good case for him, and you guys all backed up that case, and so I'm not going to go too deep into that. I am going to talk about how good of a putter he is, and so I really love the fact that he's top 10 in putting, and we all know the other numbers. And at 8K at the very bottom of the range, he's a no-brainer. I'm also going with Charlie Hoffman. He's also top 10, $8,700, top 10 in our model. Hell yeah, give me some Chucky. And so I'm all over him. And once again, Guru laid out a wonderful case on why you want to play Hoffman. And if I had to throw anything on top of that, I would throw, well, he laid it out good enough for me. And then my third guy is Shrielman. And I'm on Shrielman. He's 7th in that 350 to 400 on the par 4s, which you're going to have to be really good at. He's 12th in the 400 to 450. So his iron striking on those approach shots on the 12 par 4s is going to be key. Plus, in all of my 8 stats, all of my categories, he's top 58 or better in every single one of them. And so he has no weakness in this field compared to some of the other guys. And at $8,300 on that range, I love Kevin Shrielman. And my fade is just like two of you guys. That's going to be Phil Mickelson. And it's just hard to get. I mean, it's hard to get up like that. I just don't think he's going to be able to do it. I think he had an amazing. Who knows? It still wouldn't shock me if he withdraws. And so, but
this has that Charlie Hoffman FRL first round leader written all over it, doesn't it, boys?
Oh boy,
Charlie Hoffman hangs a little the 7 under 63 piece out there, and then fades come the weekend. That would be typical. That'd be good stuff.
Yeah, and who knows? I mean, every week I'm just like,
or Phil will do it and then piss everybody off.
Yeah, because you know what? I bet a lot of people are fading Phil.
I think so too. I mean, it's hard not to.
But I mean, he's had one good tournament in a long time, and I mean, even our model has him at 54. And when you got a guy at 54th, and he's $8,500, yeah, forget it. And so I'm definitely out on him. Justin, let's go to 7Ks.
7K. I'm going to kick us off with Emiliano Griot. 15th in the model. He's third in greens and regulation on tour. He's 12th in shots gained approach. Been playing pretty well. Always under the radar. A couple top fives within his last 6 tournaments. So I'll play him. He's top of the price point, but in the 7Ks, when you're as good as him, you can pay 79. Next, Chris Kirk. Another under the radar guy, comes up 13 in the model, 12 in the model, and he's got what I always mention is the DraftKings dollars per points. He's in the top 5, I think, in the field. So 7,600. I'll take some Chris Kirk. 55-1. I'll probably play something small on him this week as well.
The fact that he's a Georgia Bulldog doesn't hurt either, right? Did
not hurt in my decision making on him. Third, I'm going to go Joel Dahman. The model didn't love him, but
it hasn't loved him for a week, so I wouldn't read too much into that.
Yeah, he gained 5.5 strokes on approach at the PGA. He gained 3.8 strokes on approach at Wells Fargo. So he's playing pretty well, and in the 7Ks, that's enough to point me in that direction. So I'll play him. So give me Griot, Kirk, and Dahman.
Who you fade?
I'm gonna fade Sergio because I faded him last week and he missed the cut again to make it 4 in a row, and there's nothing this week to make me think that he's going to play that much better. So I'll fade Sergio.
All right. Guru, what do you got?
Oh, now
he's going to say Sergio. He's going to say Sergio.
No, he was on my short list, but no. I'm going to go a little. I'm going to start kind of further down and work my way up. So I'm going to start with Sneds again.
Nice.
41st in the model, 7,900. So course history, he's got 9 made cuts and 8 of them are inside the top 50. So I think he could, get around pretty well. As far as the model goes, just as a little side note, so he ranked out as the 23rd putter in the field. So it's pretty good in a field like this. Last 80 days, so that's 18 rounds for him. He's 32nd in approach, 31st around the green, and 13th with the putter. And if I'm not really worried about the off the tee as much, that's a pretty well-rounded mix to be able to get around here pretty well. Form's been okay. Last 45 days, he's 17th. Last 90 days, he's 28th. Year to date, he's 7th in the field from 50 to 125, and then 7th in the field on those longer putts from 15 to 20 feet. So I think that's a pretty good combo for him doing okay around here. And looking at the 24 round marks, he's 47th in driving accuracy, 52nd in bogeys, and 11th in birdies. So for somebody 7,900 that I've got 41st, I'll take a shot that he can maybe squeak up the board a little bit. I'm gonna follow Justin on to Chris Kirk. He makes a lot of sense to use, and I'm just going to keep going with it. So he's got 6 top 50s his last 8 starts. He's got 7 top 35s and 10 trips here on the course. He's number 5 as far as the mock-up of the other stats, the proximity, sand save, scrambling, all that kind of stuff. He's 21st in the comps. Last 80 days, that's 20 rounds for him. He's 26th off the tee, 37th in approach, 25th around the green, and 51st with the putter. That's pretty good marks for him, considering he's been trailing a little bit behind with the putter and some of the other tourneys we've been favoring him on. Year to date, he is 34th in that 50 to 125 approach bucket, 42nd from 125 to 150, 43rd in scrambling, 54th in sand saves, and 4th in par 4 scoring average. The 24 round marks, 37th in driving accuracy, 33rd greens and reg, and it continues on pretty good from there. Number 3, it gets a little interesting because you kind of have an interesting size. The field increases in terms of possibilities in the 7K range, but try to find guys that maybe were a little shorter that could putt, that maybe have a decent, some decent accuracy marks, and landed on a couple, but tried to find one that I didn't think a whole lot of people would go on just to mix it up a little bit. So I'm going to chase Brendan Todd, 35th in the model, 7,100. Last 80 days, that's 18 rounds for him. He is 10th around the green, 14th with the putter, and 38 off the tee. Last 24 rounds, he is 3rd in driving accuracy, 29th in sand saves. Year to date, he is the clubhouse leader in driving accuracy on the tour, 13th in sand saves, 3rd year to date strokes gained putting, 8th in putts from 15 to 20, and 5 in putts from 20 to 25. So if he can get it on and hopefully finds the greens to his liking, he should be in pretty good shape. And he was 11th as far as the comps go. 7K.
Also a Georgia Bulldog.
Also a Georgia Bulldog. I tried to go 3 for 3. I just couldn't bring myself to take, Kisner, but, another time, another turning, maybe. Looking for fade possibilities. This was a little tougher, but I think you could still narrow it down to a couple. But I'm going to fade killer Keith Mitchell and say goodnight, sir. Last 80 days for him, that's 22 rounds. He is 60th with the approach, 85th around the green, 71st with the putter. He bagged a 64th here last year, which isn't really super duper awesome. Last 24 rounds, he is 89th in driving accuracy, 113 in sand saves, 97th in bogeys, and 119th in pars. As I said last week with Cam Champ, that's a big fat glass of no thank you.
I like it. That gives us pro 7K.
Yeah. So Chris Kirk, I'm with you boys on Chris Kirk. He won here in 2015. Listen, since he's come back from his issues or whatever he had,
booze.
As far as booze issues pretty much. He's actually been pretty damn solid. And this is a golf course that's not going to kind of take him out of the realm of possibilities based off length. So I expect him to play well this week. I'm going to go with Siwoo Kim.
Woo-hoo.
So basically, anytime any of us ever play Siwoo Kim, it's based off of how he putts. And you just, anytime you play him, you hope for a heater. That's basically where I'm at with this one.
I like it.
When I get in 7K and 6K, I just kind of do whatever the hell I want. You know what I mean? I just feel this thing out, which leads me to my next guy, Harry Higgs. My guy, Harry Higgs.
Oh, my gosh.
T4 at the T4 PGA, which gets him into the Masters, by the way. Listen, man, he's $7,200. Why the hell not? And then I will fade Peter Uihlein, who is nothing against anybody outside of the United States. He's been playing shitty golf. He missed the cut at Craig Ranch. He's 202nd in strokes gained tee to green. I mean, he's 198th, I believe, in strokes gains approach. So you basically get to the point where it's like, damn, this guy, it's almost low-hanging fruit. I kind of felt bad about fading him. If Peter Uihlein plays well, I will be pissed, and I just don't see it happening. Stats-wise, it doesn't check out, and looking at that 7K range, I don't like it. I'm going to take my boy Harry Higgs. Regardless of whether Harry Higgs finishes first or last, that's my boy. I'm going to ride with him. We're going to go with Siwoo. Hopefully his putter stays in one piece this week. If not, it will be a bad putting week. We'll probably snap it like we did at Augusta. And then we'll roll with Chris Kirk like you boys did.
I like it. I like that Siwoo Kim pick too. Okay, 7K. This was a tough one for me as well. I definitely had to go with Grillo at 7.9. I know he's at the high end of the 7K range, but in our model, he's top 15. Okay, when you got a guy in a 7K range that's ranked higher than Zalatoris, Scheffler, Horschel, Kuchar, and Woodland, and all these other guys that are way priced above him, you follow the model and you hope for the best. But he also has the numbers. I mean, gosh, the guy's 17th in approach. He's 8th in tee to green. He's 10th in off the tee. He's 15th in fairways, and we all talked about fairways. And so, yeah, if he makes a few putts, he could be right there. And so at 7,900, top 15 in the model, I'm all over Grillo. I'm also on Varner, Harry HV3. I think this course lays out really well for him, and I really like his game. As a matter of fact, he's another one of those guys where he's top 65 or better in every category, including 14th in tee to green, 14th around the green, 15th in that 350 to 4, 30th in the 4 to 5, 38th in fairways, and so he's right there, top 30 in approach. And so Harold Varner at 7,400, the lower 7K range, I'm all over that one. And another one that's kind of a you guys might call it a reach, but I like the guy, and he's at the very bottom almost 7,100. And that's Kyle Stanley. And what I like about Kyle Stanley is he's like Answer. He's going to be on the fairway. He's top 8 in fairways gained. He's top 4 in that proximity between 400 to 450. He's 18th in tee to green overall in this field. He's 21st in approach. And once again, if he can get some putts to drop at $7,100, he's definitely in my lineups. And my fate is Taylor Gooch. His game is just dropped. He's 93rd off in approach. He's now 72nd in tee to green. He's 78th and off the tee. He's 114th in that proximity range for 350 to 400. He's 80th in fairways gain. He's in the 70s in the 4 to 400. He gives me no reason to believe right now, and so hopefully he gets it back. I like Taylor Gooch. I think he's a cool dude, and but I can't see playing him this week, and so Grillo, Varner, Stanley, and fading Gooch. And once again, I don't love the 7K range at all this week, and so but that's kind of where I landed on those.
Agreed.
So that brings us to our value plays before we get to our opted lineups. Let's go ahead and go pro. We value plays 6K. What do you got? Oh, pro left. Well, there he is.
Hey, I'm here.
There he is.
Sorry about that.
Just in time for 6Ks, man.
Hey, listen, boys. Zach Johnson better be in somebody else's lineup besides mine. 2-time winner. Perfect golf course for Zach Johnson. I know it's sneaky. I mean, I know there's not much to say, hey, Zach Johnson is going to do this and that. He's actually been sneaky contending at points. Yep. You've seen his name around leaderboards. I mean, I know it's hard for him to put 4 rounds together. I just think this is a perfect golf course for that. And you can throw a couple bucks on him for a pretty good number coming out right. Not that, I mean, listen, I'm not saying he's going to win, but nobody was saying Phil's ass is going to win last week either. I'm going back to the pipe with Richie Rorinsky, another name you saw flash on a leaderboard last week. This guy is 110 pounds soaking wet, moves the ball, plays well at difficult golf courses. Now, I know that Colonial is not that type of golf course, but he's kind of tough to bet on because in the 6K range, you can get him and he has a great week and you just love everything about it. If you can top 25, top 30, any guy in the 6K range, you're all about it. So I will take Richie Rorinsky. And then a guy kind of out of what I think fits the grand scheme of things this week is Luke List. And he's a guy that is, again, had a sneaky good year. His game doesn't necessarily set up for a golf course like this. He's another guy, though, if he just gets the putter going. He has tremendous length. You don't necessarily need it out here, but, again, you don't ever – there's no week where having length is a disadvantage, and that's true even this week. So I will take Luke List as well. So I'm going to go with Zach Johnson, Richie Rorinsky, and Luke List.
All right, I like all of those guys. I really, I would have bet a lot of money that you were going to take Richie, and so I you didn't let me down.
It was fun because I was hanging with kind of the family friend who knows Richie last weekend, and we were at a my parents. We threw him a 35th wedding anniversary party or whatever. But no, that's not the point. But we were sitting there and it was cool, because they know the guy pretty well, and he was kind of creeping up the leaderboard at some point, and I got to take it. I mean, at 6,800, we're talking about a flyer. We're hoping to make the cut.
I like it.
A backdoor top 25, top 40 would be fantastic.
I like that play. Justin, what do you got? Some value plays for us?
Yeah, I had a couple. My first one, he's the top 6K guy in the model. I'll take Michael Thompson. DraftKings points per dollar. He's second in the field.
Boom. I agree with you.
He's the stats aren't great. He's got some that are good. He's 22nd in drive accuracy. But like I said, in the 6Ks, he's 6,600. You're taking a flyer, and he gives me enough reasons to.
He hits fairways. I mean, he's top 15. So.
Yeah. I also like Zach Johnson. Like I said, you're gonna get a past winner in the 6Ks.
Right.
That's worth it. And I also had List written down. He seems like a 7K guy to me. He doesn't seem like a 6K guy.
I agree with you, dude. Let's go, Luke List.
I don't think I'll be playing a lot of 6K guys. I think I'll have some 9Ks and some 7K guys, and that'll be how my lineup looks.
Yep. I'm going to save Guru. I'm going to save Guru for last on the 6Ks, and I'm just going to echo kind of what you guys did. I got Zach Johnson in there, and we've already talked about that. But the guy right now is playing. He's playing pretty damn good.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's top 11 in 4 to 450, he's 37th in 350 to 400. Both of those things with 12 par fours. Those are two stats I really, really like. He's also 39th in fairways, and he's 6th in putting. And so, you know what? In 18th in approach, yeah, give me all you want at $6,900. Plus, to your point, Justin, he's a former winner here. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I like Zach Johnson. So that gives us 3 on him. I also like Michael Thompson because I like the model. And the model has Thompson and a guy that hits every fairway right there at $6,600. Yep, I'll take him. And then I've got 2 other ones. And this one just kind of surprised me. And I don't even know why, but when I started looking at the numbers, I'm like, gosh, is something wrong with this program? But James Hahn at $6,600. Here he is in this field, based on my metrics. He's 14th in fairways gained. He's 28th in 4 to 450. He's 32nd around the green. He's 27th off the tee. He's 21st tee to green, and he's top 40 in approach. $6,600. Give me James Hahn. I'll take a flyer on him. And the last guy I got is Tom Hoagie. Just the guy to make the cut. He's not horrible in any of the categories, but I really like his approach shots from 350 to 400, and his fairways gained. I really like him there. I also like his approach. He's top 50, and so I'll take Hoagie at $6,800. But Hahn was my big surprise, and so I'm gonna have some Hahn when I do a stars and scrubs type of lineup. So anyway, let's hear Guru. What do you got, buddy?
So I've got 2 that you guys mentioned, so I'll catch those at the end. But the first guy actually threw up. I was kind of surprised he was as low priced as he was. So he's 77th in the model. He is 6,200 and he is 225 to 1. But I will continue to tout my good friend, Mr. Vincent Whaley. So last 80 days, it's a 24-round marker for him. He's 50th off the tee, 22nd around the green, and 34th in putting. The last 7 starts he's made, they've all been top 40 or better. I don't see why this can't be any different.
Wow.
51st greens and reg, 43rd driving distance, 11th in birdies, and 14th in bogeys. So models technically got him outside the cut line, but I think he'll be in there. And 62 helps you go up and get somebody as far as DraftKings go. You guys mentioned, I'm going to save that for the end. So Chase Seifert's another one. He's 6,400, another 225 to 1 guy. He seems to show up on these smaller courses with the smaller greens. Last 80 days, that's a 20-round marker for him. He's 46th off the tee, 47th in approach, and 47th with the putter. He's got 4 top 50s in his last 7 starts. And his last 24 rounds, he's 20th in driving accuracy, 15th greens and reg. It's a pretty good combination, I think. 31st in birdies, 22nd in pars, and 30th in bogeys. So again, 64. And I normally don't go down this deep, but I think there's just some pricing inefficiencies in this field for sure. That's 2. And then actually back down to 6,200 again. He's a little higher in the model, but I'm going to take Bryce Garnett, and I think he's 250 to 1. So last 80 days there, that's 22 rounds for him. He's 45th around the green, 46th in putting, and 61st off the tee. So it's a pretty good combo again. But what was sneaky good about him, his last 24 rounds, he's 2nd in the field in driving accuracy, 5th greens and reg, 5th in pars, and 2nd in bogeys. It's a pretty good, combo. He's got 5 top 60s in his last 8 starts. I'm not expecting much for 62, but if he can make the cut and maybe catch a decent round somewhere, he could fly up a little bit. And then, he does have 2 top 40s, here in his course history, baked in, which isn't a terrible thing. And then the other 2 guys mentioned, I'm not going to beat Zach Johnson in the ground, but for 6,900, you play the course history, and, you hope he finds a little bit of the putter should be there, short game should be there. Hopefully either, does something well off the tee or with his approach game. And then, Michael Thompson seemed like a no-brainer. I mean, you have to play him. I mean, the fact that he was 26th in the model kind of surprised me, but then when you start digging into him a little bit, it makes a lot of sense. He's got 4 top 50s or better, into his course history. He's got 4 top 50s or better in his last 6 starts, so the form's not too bad. Last 24 rounds, he's 11th in greens and reg, 10th driving accuracy, 11th in bogeys, 17th in pars, 31st in birdies, 7th in sand saves. And then you look at his last 80 days as far as a sample, it's 18 rounds for him. And his is actually a little more balanced. So he's got 42nd off the tee, 54th in approach, 43rd around the green, and 30th in putting. So those are probably the 5 guys I'm going to use. If I end up having to not enough salary to afford or have to, go elsewhere, I'm probably going to repackage. I mean, these are the only 5 that they stood out. I can't imagine there are a whole lot of guys in the 6K range that are going to stand out. And so you could go up high and get 69. You could kind of stay in the middle in 66, or you could drop down and get 62. So you've got options to pretty much go do whatever you want. So I think it's a pretty good mix. So those are my 6K plays.
Hey, I'm going to do something new before we get to the optimal lineups, and I'm going to put next to every one of our names what is going to be the winning score. We'll start with you, Pro.
$1,700 under.
All right. Justin?
All right, I'll go 15.
Guru?
14.
I'm going 18. I think they're going to tear this thing up a little bit. But I think all of us agree that it's going to be pretty good scoring. I haven't looked at any weather conditions. I know that a lot of times there's wind, but I know it's a heavily wooded course, and that blocks a lot of the wind. So I think they're going to have some pretty good second shots in, as long as they're on the fairway. And that's the key, and that's one of the big things that I looked at this week. Let's go right to the optimal. And I know one person was real happy when he saw this optimal, and the fact that it's got a number 1, a number 2, a number 9, and it's got 4 of the top 12. Go ahead and talk about it, Guru.
So, yeah, I was kind of surprised the way it came together, what it did. But it's always nice when you get able to use the number 1 guy, and it's even nicer when, you get the number 2 guy right behind it. That's not something that always happens. So Spieth ranked out number 1 in the model, and he is 11,200. Tony Finau was 2nd in the model, and he shows up in the optimal as well, and he's 9,600.
I love this. Having those 2 guys, oh my God. Then
dropping down next, you get Brian Harmon. He is 8,000, and he is 9th in the model. Then you've got Chris Kirk at 12th, and he is 7,600. And then you've got Michael Thompson. We touched on him. I think we all mentioned him in the 6K range. He's 6,600, and he is 26th. And then just to kind of make the salary work and, get you what points that are available, then it drops down to Zach Johnson, and he was 42nd in the model. But it fits. It's a total salary used to 49,900, and it puts you right around 548 points, which is a pretty good number. You're looking at the last 4 years. So 2 of the years, the optimal has been right around 550, and then the other 2 years, the optimal was right around 650. So it just depends on how it's going to shake out. I mean, it could obviously still be a little low, but the fact that it's kind of, in the ballpark is always a, good sign. But again, there's some pieces there that we all liked. You could definitely trade out some other pieces if you favored, some other, golfers around the same salary mark. But it's definitely a good place to start, and, allows you to build, and hopefully it leads you to some big money this week.
Yeah. I love this. I love this optimal so much because, well, first of all these guys were highly ranked in our plays and fades, and to get Thompson and Johnson both in there at those prices, and to be able to marry Spieth with Finau and Harmon and Kirk. I mean, I'm loving it, and so I'm definitely 100% playing that model, and then I'm going to probably flip around a few guys, but that's going to be a core model for me in my DraftKings lineups.
Nice.
Awesome. Hey, let's talk about some outrights and any other thing else we want to talk about. You guys got any? Obviously, we're going to put our consensus up tonight, and we're going to have the good news is we got 4 guys that we already have a 4-way consensus on. That's pretty cool. What are some of the ones that you guys are liking? We'll start with Justin. I know you got Zalatoris.
You're a heater, Justin. Keep going, bud.
Yeah. I mean, I bet that Zalatoris. I bet Joel Dahman, and I'm probably going to bet Chris Kirk. And kind of like I did last week, the guys that I'm betting outright, I'm going to have them. I'm going to have some top 5 and top 10s on them. And that saved me last week.
Yeah, Kirk at 55 is a pretty good number.
Yeah. I mean, I think this he can win this week. And if at 55, if you think he's got a shot to win, that's where you want to go.
Right.
I've got Zalatoris already. I've got Dahman, and I'll add Kirk for sure.
Pro, what do you got?
Yeah, I'll take. I mean, a few. I'll take just to get the big ones out of the way. I'll take Morikawa 15-1. I will personally take Spieth 11-1, but y'all do what you want with that because he's going to win this week. So just letting you guys know right now. I'll take Fina 17-1, Harmon 30-1, and then I'll also take Kirk 55-1, and then finally, excuse me, I'm gonna ride the Zach Johnson wagon 100-1 at this point. So those will be mine.
I like that. Guru, you got some?
Oh, I've got some stuff. I went a little crazy this week.
I love it. Let's go.
So I'll start with a prop first. So I went back 25 years. It's a lot of work to go back 25 years, but I went back 25 years. So the average victory in the 25 years turns out to be 49 strokes. So you get a plus 350 on a 2-stroke win. Worth a shot. It's a little, I mean, 1 comes up more frequently, but it averages out to 2. So I think it's a plus 250 on a 1-stroke. So yeah, that's the only thing I really saw right off that's kind of off the grid. We'll start there.
That's an interesting one. I was looking at those last night.
Yeah, it seemed like there should be some more good ones out there, and started dipping through some of the nationality ones and hole-in-one stuff and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, never really flipped my switch, but that seems to come down to a 1 or a 2, and and with the average being right at the 2, I'll take a stab at it. I'm not sure that anybody will win. I can't figure out who would actually win by 2. That's the one I need to have an outright on. But here's hoping it's one of the other 4 guys I have here. So I've got Answer in at 17. I wish I got him at a bigger number, but I liked him. I've been liking him, and the number's going to keep getting shorter until he wins. And here, I hope he wins this week because then I can stop playing him because the number will be way shorter than that next time. Nieman at 26.5 seemed like the contrarian outright to play with everybody else shorter grouped out. And so, yeah, I'll play him in DraftKings, and I've got the outright there too. Putting the odds against the model, I got to play Hoffman at that 45. Where he is in the model versus where the odds rank him out, there should be some value there. So that made sense. And same thing with Chris Kirk. There's still value at the 55. You could probably get him even shorter and there'd still be some value there. So those are my outrights. Then I went deeper, but with the deeper plays, I played him outright, but then I played him top 5, top 10. So I've got Michael Thompson at 110, but then I played the 16-1 top 5. I've got Matt Naismith at 160, but then I played the 12-1 top 10. I've got CT Pan at 175. I do.
Oh, wow.
Shit hits the fan.
Shit hits the fan.
It's going to hit it to my bank account, hopefully. And 10-1 on a top 10. And then I've got Andrew Putnam at 225, and I've got 12-1 on a top 10 for him.
Like it.
So, yeah, that's my I'm still probably going to I'll put a 16 parlay, and I'll stick some first round leaders out. But yeah, my heavy lifting is probably done as far as betting.
Yeah, I meant to mention my Justin Rose first round line.
That's a nasty group, with Reid and Nieman and Rose, man. Like, yeah. I kind of want to play all 3 of them, and hopefully one of them just flips the 63. I don't care who it is.
Yeah, I can see that group playing well. Yeah, I might bet all 3 of them. Now that you say that.
There you go. Plus 500 odds boost Spieth leader at any round.
I like that one.
Is that like at any point in any round or at the end of the round?
At the end of the round.
End of the round. Yeah.
Yeah. As far as outrights, I've only locked in one, and actually I've locked in one. I've got another one that I'm about to lock in, but the one I've locked in was Tony Finau at 16. I really like Tony, and I've laid off the straight forecast bets for a few weeks, but this is
hard not to this week. I saw
this week is the week. I mean, I've got Finau Spieth 1-2. I got Spieth Finau 1-2. I've got Morikawa Spieth 1-2. I laid down a whole bunch of those, and I'm not throwing much money on them, but you don't have to.
You don't have to, yeah.
On these kind of bets, you could throw down, $2 and win 500. And like, for example, Spieth Zalatoris, $2, you win 502 if they finish 1-2. And so it's fun for me. And I love the straight forecast this week because I believe that there's definitely a lot of cream at the top. And so I'm all over that. But we're going to put our consensus together. I will tell you right now, our consensus plays will probably have Morikawa. They'll probably have Tony Finau, probably have Brian Harmon, and they'll probably have Zach Johnson, and we'll fill in the rest. We'll post it later tonight or tomorrow, and then we'll post our personal plays. I love what Guru's doing by putting a lot more options out there. I'm going to try to be more specific and throw some top 40s and top 20s and some other types of bets. I'm going to be probably doing a lot less outright winners. I'm still going to play my outright winners, but I'm going to start mixing up my routine a little bit more because I just think that it's hard. It's hard. Golf betting is hard, isn't it?
It is.
So anyway, any final thoughts, guys?
No,
good, man.
Hopefully
Good luck, everybody.
We're still kind of exhausted from last week's PGA and prepping for this week, but I'm actually looking forward to this tournament, man.
It's the first glimpse of things kind of getting back to normal. I mean, I know they have the one-off in Congaree in 2 weeks, but you've got this, you've got the Memorial, you've got that, and then everything should kind of be back to where it was. And it's taken a long road to get back there, but hopefully things start clicking. Not that they aren't, but things you can just relax and say, okay, this is the normal again, and I'm looking forward to that.
I am too. I think it's
got the U.S. Open on the horizon.
And before we leave, I was going to say, Team Brooks for sure, and don't forget to like and subscribe.
Absolutely. And I was going to get to that. Like and subscribe and give us a comment. Let us know how we're doing. Pick the winner. We haven't had a winner in a while.
Nobody picked Phil, right?
And I think the last one was Spieth.
The last one was
Spieth again. You will win again.
You know what? Get on there on YouTube. Pick a winner. Put it in the comments. If they win, you win. And give us a comment. Let us know what you like to hear. Let us know what you like, what you dislike. Give us any feedback that you can. The guys all here they all work really hard preparing for this, and it's nice to get a nice word out there every now and then. So we really appreciate that. We love what we're doing. Don't get me wrong. We have a lot of fun, but it is real work putting this in. And I want to thank Guru specifically. He continues to jam it out. What he did last week with the PGA was really cool. The numbers that he spewed out there was amazing. And this week, we will have the article out tomorrow. We will have the full model out tomorrow. You can look at every single statistic, including ownership, tee times. All of those things will be on the model. So be on the lookout for that. And good luck Good luck this week, guys. And we wish you all to hammer some dollars this week. All right, guys. Peace out.
All right, Steve.
Did you get all that? If not, make sure you head over to hammercast.com, subscribe, and join the Hammer Nation. Until next time, keep grinding.